if you look around at society, akhi, you just see comfort and distractions. It has never been easier for you to just give up on your discipline. And I mean, you've experienced it, whether it comes to your digital environment in terms of social media, whether it comes to your own mental environment in terms of your limbic system, which we'll talk about more. It's basically your emotions. Your brain is comfortable. It wants comfort. It wants pleasure. As well as just outdoors anywhere. You're just looking around. You got McDonald's, you got delivery services. It's just so easy to get whatever you want. So easy to please your nafs. It's like 2-3 clicks and you could do whatever you want, whatever your heart desires. It seems like society in general, and even us, we're turning into animals. Just all we do is fulfill our nafs. And may Allah protect us. It's becoming harder and harder and harder every single day to be disciplined. I know you're feeling it. I know I'm feeling it. But Insha'Allah, there are many steps towards this. We gotta toughen up because we are Muslims. Muslims cannot live like this. We can't live pleasing our nafs. As a Muslim, we have to do things and we have goals that will take really a lot of discipline. Like, think about it. A goal to pray the whole third of the night, that takes a lot of discipline. You gotta sleep at the right time. You gotta wake up at the right time. You gotta stay up at the right time. And you're tired, whatever, every single day. That's the ultimate goal we have. Not even something small like just praying tahajjud every day. That takes a lot of discipline. Same with reading the Quran, seeking knowledge, praying salah, trying to do sunnah salah, all these things as a Muslim. Even in the dunya, of course, but I'm just presenting the deen. The dunya as well, we have to train, we want to work, we have to study, and we want to do well in this. We're progressing in deen and dunya. But as a Muslim, progressing in both sides, you have to harness your discipline because you're living an ultra-disciplined life. You want a success or you want a goal that most humans don't want. Most humans aren't working for this life's success and the next. Most people are either working for no success, they just want pleasure. Most people are either working for the success of this dunya, which is kind of vain. It's nice, but it's vain. But we're working for the akhirah as well. So we have to be ultra disciplined. Our entire religion is based off delayed gratification. And that's what society doesn't want anymore. They just want things instant. And I know it's been hard. I mean, like, it takes 3 clicks to go on any other social media platform or even to do haram. May Allah protect us. But anyway, I know you love value. I know I love value. I love real education, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm struggling, you're struggling, and what I'm going to do in this video, bi'idhnillah, is that I'm going to break down all the systems, the steps, the informations, step by step, as to how we're going to cultivate more discipline, bi'idhnillah. There's a full guide for that, and if you're here, you stick with me for 20-30 minutes, bi'idhnillah, I'm going to give you as much value as I possibly can in my journey of progressing in the deen and dunya that I've cultivated, of information that I've collected for you, my dear brother. So for that, if you're a young brother who genuinely is on this journey to become a man, you want to become a rajul, you want to progress in the deen and dunya, you want to be the best man that you can be in this life, the deen and the akhirah, bi'idhnillah. If you're on that same journey, you want to destroy weakness in yourself, you want to destroy sin in yourself, that is what we're here to do at the Sultanate. So subscribe, Insha'Allah, for real education content, real value. I'm not here to edit, I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to help you, my dear brother, because I love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you want anything even greater from me in terms of value, Insha'Allah, the Haram Habits course is finally being filmed. It's finally scripted. So soon it will be out. It is something I've put my heart and soul into. So Insha'Allah, it's either in the description. Maybe donation links are there for any other causes you can support if you have money, Insha'Allah. Remember, charity does not decrease wealth whatsoever. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. And let's get into the real video. Chapter 1 is your mindset. So the first part of the mindset I want you to understand in terms of discipline is something you've probably heard before. Maybe lots of kuffar creators talk about it, but okay. Discipline is a perishable skill. I heard this a lot from David Goggins, from James Clear when I was reading Atomic Habits and Can't Hurt Me. But it's true. Like, I have felt it in my own life. I want to be candid with you guys. When I started training, you probably trained, but when I started training, I remember that was the first discipline I ever had in self-improvement. That was my biggest achievement. Like, I was fat and then I started losing weight. I started doing home boxing. Then I started building mass and I started becoming a bodybuilder. And alhamdulillah, I used to be those type of guys who, like, I don't know how you don't go to the gym, right? I don't know that. For me, that was such an integral part of my self-improvement and you know, progressing in the dunya that I never thought that it'd be taken away from me. But I moved from environments. I came to my grandparents' house, alhamdulillah. I now live in a place that's more conducive to unhealthy eating. I wasn't able to get a gym membership. So now I have to train at home, which I haven't done for so long because I've been so used to the comfort and the hype of going to a real gym, you know? Like, I built that habit for so long that it became so difficult for me to just do it out of doing it in terms of boring, nothing, just training. And especially when training is more harder because there's less machines, there's less things you can do. It's the same monotonous thing. And so I missed training for like 2 months, I'd say consecutively, in terms of like really getting on that grind. And it was terrible. I hated it. I hated not feeling that part of me anymore. And it just tanked. I thought I'd never be able to stop training. Like, you guys don't understand. I never thought I'd quit, but I did. And all it took was 2 months for me to use it or lose it. And I lost it. Then it became hard for me to even train 2 times a week. Alhamdulillah, now we're doing 3 times a week, and we'll talk about how we do that. But it's a normal thing. Sometimes we just lose our discipline. So you have to understand that discipline, and I'll explain in Portuguese, like discipline, disciplina is like a subject. If you look at its Latin root, subject, it's a specific thing. So discipline isn't overall, it's in different facets. You have discipline in different things, whether it's deen, dunya. Maybe you could be wonderful at seeking ilm, but you don't train. Maybe you could be wonderful in business, but you don't seek ilm. That's a problem. You got to do all of it, right? If that's your goals. To build that discipline, you have to consistently use it and never lose it. And by that, I don't mean no rest. I mean, when it's time, when it's in your, like, schedule, let's say your training is 3 or 4, 5 days a week. When it's time to train, you do not quit. It doesn't mean no rest. It means no quitting. That is it. Discipline. When you quit discipline, you're going to lose it slowly. And that's this trap that shaitan is trying to get you on. The same thing happened with my sunnah salah. When I went to travel after September 2023, alhamdulillah, I did almost every sunnah salah that was in my timetable for to do. And when I went to travel, I just didn't do it for like a month, and I came back and I couldn't do it because I lost the discipline. Same thing comes with when you read the Quran. You're gonna have to do things consistently according to your schedule. That is what's gonna build the discipline. When you quit, it destroys the discipline. It's like what David Goggins says here, and James Clear. Either you're getting better or you're getting worse. That's the way that it is. And I know you've heard this, but really deep it, akhi. Either you're getting better reading the Quran or you're getting worse. Either you're getting better at your salah in terms of inner worship, Insha'allah, or you're getting worse because you're thinking and heedless and whatever. Either you're getting better at your training or you're getting worse. It's just how it works. Either you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. There's no maintenance. There's no base. You're either doing better or you're doing worse. For you who've maybe lost discipline, this is the start of the thing. This is something that I went through recently. What you're going to do is something that I did with my training, which is progressive deloading, or the 2-minute rule in Atomic Habits. What we're basically doing is akhi, wallahi, get rid of your ego, because that's what happened to me. Shaitan came here, he was whispering like, no, but you can train 6 days a week. That was an old version of me. And that might be an old version of you for whatever you're not disciplined in. That's not you anymore. Or maybe that was never you. For example, I've been wanting to read the Quran to finish, Insha'Allah. I'm only telling you because you probably have the same goal. Because it's almost Ramadan when I'm filming this. I wanted to do half a juz every day. I just couldn't do it because I've never even done a quarter every day. So how am I supposed to just jump? That's not who I am. I have to build that. I have to get rid of my ego. And shaitan's going to push for your ego. So get rid of your ego, akhi. Just start either 2-minute rule, means literally do the thing for 2 minutes, or lower the amount you're doing. So for me, I said, okay, maybe I can't train 6 days a week. Let me train 3 days a week. Maybe I can't read half a juz. Maybe I just read for 30 minutes. And Allahu alam how many ayat that is. Probably like 20 to 40, right? Okay, alhamdulillah. The most important thing is consistent results, even if it's small, is better than irregular efforts. If you pray the salah once and then don't pray for 5 days, is that better than praying salah every single day? Even if you prayed like sunnah salah, everything, tahajjud one day? No, because the consistent efforts is better. It actually reminds me of hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says along the lines that Allah loves deeds that are consistent even if they're small. Something along these lines. I'll put it on screen. Focus on getting consistent. Focus on building that discipline in that faucet. And that is what's going to get you closer, inshallah. And after, you get comfortable. For example, like you think, okay, I don't need discipline to do this. I'm back at it. I'm okay. Then overload. Go higher. That's how you're supposed to do it. But if you can't do it yet, don't push yourself because it's not going to happen. You're just going to be irregular. What we want is consistency. Don't think that maybe I'm so disciplined. No, you're not all disciplined if you're just disciplined in one thing and not in everything. Because we want to maintain a balance. The neuroscience behind discipline. So many creators I've seen on Self-Improvement Nation. I'm not in it, alhamdulillah. I'm in the Islamic masculinity niche. But so many kuffar creators I've watched, they talk about discipline, but they don't say anything. It's like, yeah, you got to be disciplined. You got to do hard things. Well, yeah, I know. What does that mean? And I know you like very in-depth explanations, so here's what I'm gonna do because I love it as well. How discipline really works is just kind of like I say this in the Haram Habits course, but humans are created in this kind of dichotomy. In terms of the course, we're talking about the part that's precious and the part that's niggardly. But in terms of our brain, the same thing applies. We have this thinking part and this instinctual bestial part. So the thing that can do good, that is logical, and the thing that just wants to do what's emotional, what's pleasurable. We have to go to war like that every day. You have a war between your thinking brain and your feeling brain. The act of discipline is consistently subjugating and denying the limbic system, or the part of your brain that is the feeling brain, we'll call it that. The feeling part of your brain needs to be subjugated, denied. The more you do that, the more disciplined you are. That's the act of discipline. Consistently and constantly doing that. The more you do that, the more you're disciplined. And thus, when you think with your thinking brain, it's logical, it's disciplined. Because let's say you have a goal. I want to read the Quran until the end of Ramadan, right? Right now, it's the 18th of February. You've got like a month and 2 weeks. Okay, alhamdulillah. How many ayat am I supposed to read for this? For example, probably like 2/3 of a juz, probably. Allahu alam. You can do math. So logically, if I want to finish that goal, I have to read 2/3 of a juz every day. Now, your emotional brain's going to be like, oh no, it's so hard. It's like, maybe I'm a bit nervous because maybe I don't know Arabic. Maybe I have to read transliteration. And oh no, it's so long and it's hard. And I waste a lot of calories because I got to think and I got to work. Yeah, it's the feeling brain, but I want to read the Quran because I want hasanat. I want to win in this life and the next. Wonderful. So let me do that. That's a logical thing. So you have to go to war with your brain. And the more you subjugate your limbic system, the more you deny this feeling that you know isn't real, the more you're going to be disciplined. And that's how it works. So it's really just thinking, hey, what makes sense? Let me do that. And when you're feeling, which is going to be natural, you're going to go through life because your feeling brain is going to want to get pleasure. Even right now. Right now, I'm recording a video. In front of me is my PS4 and my TV. I could watch Netflix right now. But I have spent time subjugating the impulse of the feeling brain that now my thinking brain is taking control bi'idhnillah. Now I can think, no, I want to do hijrah. I want to like get success in business bi'idhnillah. I want to provide value to my brothers. I'm going to record the video. That's what I'm going to do. So then I do it by the permission of Allah. And that is discipline. That's how you gain this control of discipline. So literally, I think it's a wonderful quote that I heard before. You sacrifice for what you want, or what you want will become the sacrifice. And that's the truth. Either you sacrifice your feelings, you sacrifice this little thingy that comes up. It's like an alarm sound because your brain wants, randomly it will come up whether you're experiencing some sort of pain, which will happen with discipline. And your brain doesn't like that in terms of the feeling brain. It's going to be alarm bells and you're going to be like, no, what I want is this. I want to finish the Quran. I want to seek ilm. I want to make a business so that I can please Allah. I want to provide value to the brothers. Wonderful. So I'm going to sacrifice the feelings. Or else you're going to sacrifice what you want for the feelings, for the temporary pleasure. The next chapter, which is keeping at it, Chapter 2. The first part is the 1 second decision. David Goggins talks about this a lot. And so this wonderful thing he came up with in his own brain is his physical manifestation of denying the feeling brain. And it's extremely incredible because human beings, for some reason, we're not very smart creatures. Of course, we're created in the best of forms. Alhamdulillah. In terms of the way we want to thrive, we can't experience pain from the future right now. What we got to do is feel the pain from the future right now. We got to bring ourselves there because then we can want to get it out. So the 1 second decision is basic 1 second where your decision can branch over. Meaning, either in this 1 second, I'm going to do something or not do something. Like for that moment where you want to do sunnah salah. Maybe you finish the fard and you're thinking, oh, I should do my 2 rak'ah of sunnah after dhuhr. That would be so exciting. It would be wonderful. Hasanat. And that moment where you're deciding in your brain, am I going to do it or not? This is the 1 second decision. And that 1 second decision is absolutely important because we live 1 second decisions every day. We have tens of thousands of seconds in the day. And if you fail one of those decisions in certain things, and in most things, you fail everything. For example, salah. You have lots of seconds in salah. If you miss 1 second at the end, let's say you do perfectly, mashallah, khushu, everything, and you don't finish the salah, like you turn your head one side and you just don't turn your head the left side, you stand up because you're tired, well then the salah is void. You didn't finish it. See what I'm saying? Winning those 1 seconds every single time and as much as we can, because of course we're humans, we make mistakes, but we want to win that 1 second as much times as humanly possible. You have to think of every single second you're doing a task and keep winning those 1 seconds. And that 1 second that comes to you and it's like, no, I want to quit. That's when we're going to do this. When we're about to have that 1 second decision, what you got to do is you got to stop. Say, whoa, give me a second. And you put yourself in the position, especially when it comes to deen or getting away from haram habits. One thing you can do is think about Yawm al-Qiyamah. Maybe for most things, you can think 15 minutes in the future. If I don't train today, what will I feel in 15 minutes in the future if I don't finish my workout? I'm going to feel shame. I'm going to feel like I could have put out better. I'm going to feel like I could have trained. Or if today I don't train, I'm like, oh, I'm lazy. What are you going to feel? I'm going to feel shame. I'm going to look at my habit tracker and I'm going to see a red cross. And I'm not going to be happy with that. So even on Yawm al-Qiyamah, let's say, oh, what if I don't do my sunnah rak'ah? Think of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Think that was the deed. Put yourself there. Feel it. Think that was the deed that could have gotten me the mercy of Allah to go to Jannah. Of course, Allahu alam if that's the truth. The point is when you think like this, you think in reality. Because we don't know if it is or isn't. The point is, our goal here is to do as much hasan, to get as much hasana as we can. So wasting our time not fulfilling our purpose is not conducive to that, right? So think like that. This might be the reason I go to Jannah. And then think of the good things when it comes to training. Think of those 15 minutes where it's like after training where you feel great. You're like, wow, man, I'm so proud. I'm alhamdulillah, I trained. Maybe you look in the mirror like, mashallah. Of course, don't forget to say mashallah. Don't forget Allah. And you train, you're feeling good. You tick off the habit tracker, you're happy. Or even when you're doing salah, you think of the 2 rak'ah. Think of how that could be the reason you gain the mercy, and now you have Jannah. You see how we put ourselves in the future, and that pain and pleasure sensations, they changed. Because now we're not here, we're there. And now we can use our rational brain to choose the right decision. Yes, I'm going to do it. Because before we were thinking of feeling brain, and now when we stopped, we took that 1 second to really feel the pain and pleasure in the outcome, in the truth, then you can make the logical decision. Let's say you make that good decision, right? In 1 second. What you can do after that is something David Goggins calls just taking one more step. Can you take one more step? Ask yourself the question. When you finish making that decision, just think of the next step. For example, let's say you want to seek ilm, right? You want to seek knowledge. You have a dars you have to attend. Whether it's online, whether it's on YouTube, whatever. Think of the next step. Think of, okay, can I press Google Chrome? Yes, so you press Google Chrome. Can I press YouTube? Press YouTube. Can I press Masjid Ribat, for example? Sheikh Uthman. Can I press the playlist of the Seerah? Wonderful. Can I press the video? Boom. And then now you're already seeking ilm. You see how you broke it down? You made it easy. And you keep making those logical decisions. Think of that. Think of the next step. Next thing is environment management. One thing that James Clear says in Atomic Habits, and we see this everywhere in self-improvement, right? You know, you're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. Or even in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says along these lines, you take the religion of your friend, your best friend. So we got to mind who we're with. We got to mind our environment because these things influence us. So specifically your environment, what you see can very much determine what you do. Think about this in terms of girls, right? And stay with me. Say, Wallah, you're going to stay with me. Say, Wallah. Wallah, you're going to stay with me? When you think of girls, when you're walking across the street, in terms of not lowering the gaze, let's say you don't lower the gaze, you see a girl. Now that's playing in your head. Now you've gotten a stimulus. Now what are you going to do? You want to, do something with the stimulus. Because that's a biological thing. So either you could do in the haram or the halal. 9 times a day you're going to do the haram. So just by seeing the girl, if you had not seen the girl, if she was not in your environment, you would have not done anything. 9 times out of 10, we do things because of external stimuli. So even let's say maybe you woke up and your phone's next to your bed, you're probably going to open it. If you've got Instagram immediately, you're going to scroll Instagram. And so our environment can either be good or bad for us. And so what I want you to do is something called an environment scorecard. We're adapting it from Atomic Habits, but yeah, it's the same thing. What I want you to do, to look around, think of the things that you do every day. And I'm going to tell you mine. I'm going to read it off. My environment scorecard. List the positive, the neutral, and the bad things. What in your environment makes it easy for you to do things that are good for you? What in your environment makes it hard? Whether it's digital or physical. We're going to do physical now. Some things that are positive is I have bookshelves around me, which means that it's easy for me to get books. It's aesthetic. It's fun. For me, I have a Quran display over there. So where my reading chair is, I also have a reading chair. It's a specific place. So you can do that. It's fun. I have a Quran thing next to my reading chair. So guess what? It's very easy. It's one reach away. It's not so difficult. All I have to do is get myself to the reading chair. And I get a desk, a workstation that's clean, that's made for work. I have this double monitor setup. Alhamdulillah. Point is, I set it up that way. I've got a bed is neutral. Easier it is to do things that are going to be conducive to your either good habits or good work, right? Even digitally. For me, alhamdulillah, digitally, I separated my YouTube accounts. So I have one for seeking knowledge, one for business, one for leisure, right? So when I watch YouTube, it is blocked. There's no other channels. Masjid Ribat is one of the only channels subscribed. Everything on YouTube is showing Masjid Ribat. So block thumbnails, you go there. Boom. I have my digital environment set for that. It's easy. In terms of bad, I've got a PS4 in my room. I've got a TV in my room. I've got a laptop, iPhone, and unhealthy food in my environment. In terms of downstairs is what I eat. And so now I want you to think, okay, what in my bad environment is actually doing bad to me? 9 times out of 10 is going to do bad for you. For me, I'm not addicted to video games. I don't play video games. It's not a thing I do. I'm not a gamer. So I have my PS4 over there. I use it to watch YouTube later at night when I'm done working. Okay, there's never been a time where I sat here, like recent times, probably 1-2 months, where I've sat here and I'm like, oh, I'm going to stop working because I'm going to watch YouTube. No, okay. So I think it's fine to be there. Maybe look at your laptop. For me, I do have one game, it's Minecraft, because I played with a friend last week. For the first time in like years. But have I ever touched Minecraft since? No. But if these things are actually actively getting you away, delete, and we're going to go to that, take them away from you. So what you can do in terms of your environment is you make it invisible. Take out all the bad things. For example, physically, I could have taken out my TV if it was really hitting me. Like, actually take it out. Take out your PS4. In terms of digitally, delete all the apps that are useless. Delete all the ones that waste your time. Like, make it so simple. You know what I mean? The simpler and the more conducive it is to your habits that you want to do, the more you're going to do them. That's just the fact. Get rid of everything in terms of your digital environment. Like, look at your laptop, look at your PC, look at everything. Get rid of things that don't help you. I don't care if you paid whatever for the game. I don't care. What do you want more, akhi? Progressing deen and dunya, or do you want that? So get rid of that stuff in your environment. It took me a while. Alhamdulillah. Even if you go to a delete and download cycle of social media, it's better for you. Know your FYP, akhi. Your FYP that is Islamic is not good enough to be on your phone. Get it out, akhi. You can seek knowledge on YouTube. That's better for you. Next is make it difficult. So for me, what I'm going to do probably after this video, which is helpful, is unplug my TV. At least it makes it difficult for even when I have to go for fun and watch YouTube on my PS4 or my TV, it still takes me an extra time. So what you can do is also make things difficult. You can add blockers to your phone and make things as hard as it is to do bad things. And then to make it obvious and easy for your good habits, literally, things you can do is add good things to your environment. So for example, one of the best things you can do, which we'll talk about, is visibly display your schedule and your habit tracker, because it's always you're gonna keep it in mind. Like for me, every time I look at it, I'm constantly on the clock. I'm constantly looking at the time. What time is it? What do I have to do? What do I have to do this? That's the point. Very important. Make your environment conducive. Whatever you can think of that's going to be easy for you to do, whatever. For me, having bookshelves in my room is helpful for me to read. Because, I like it. It's aesthetic, right? It's easy to pull out the books. I have a reading chair. Literally just so that I can sit down and read or read Quran. Alhamdulillah. So find anything that you can. The goal is to control as much as we can. In terms of unhealthy food, for me, that's the biggest, baddest environment. Try your best. Try your best to maybe make a solution. Either eat less of the food. You can ask for a little bit more healthier food at home. You can literally just overhaul everything and make everything in your environment, which is best. Everything in your environment is healthy. But if you can't do that, likely you can. Then just try your best to get closer and closer and closer and control as much as you can. Of course, you have to adapt to your parents. Do not just come in and say, hey, I got discipline. Please delete everything. No. Your mom has to cook, or your nanny has to cook. It's not going to be an easy process. You can't just come up and demand things, right? So do it with a nice adab. Ask nicely. Give the reasons. And inshallah, you'll be able to control that unhealthy environment, take it away from you. You might have to use discipline though. Anyway, chapter 3, systems. This is something that James Clear talks a lot about in terms of atomic habits, which is that every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. That's what he says, which is totally true. Every single habit you do, every single action you take is a vote. Every time you seek ilm, you watch one lesson. In 365 days, you would watch 365 lessons. How much of a better Muslim would you be because of the knowledge you gained by the will of Allah if you did that? Because every day you're building that 365. You see what I'm saying? Same with training. 365 days of training, what can that do? Of course you want to train 365, of course. But my point is, look at how it builds in the macro. If you can just focus on this casting votes, this equals the goal. So what we want to do with systems is absolutely streamline this ability to cast votes, because casting votes or doing habits equals our identity. It makes us who we are, quite literally. That's the thought of atomic habits, which is true. So when we streamline this process of habit creation, of discipline, it's gonna just absolutely make it like buttery smooth to just do everything. So the 2 ways that I've done this, like wallahi, it's changed my life by the will of Allah, is so awesome. Is number 1, with a schedule. I tried a to-do list recently. It was good, but it was not helpful in terms of consistency. So what's gonna be good for consistency, for habituation, is doing the same things at the same time. So literally, a schedule just means everything you want to do in your to-do list, or maybe you have a schedule already. You start from the beginning you wake up to the time you sleep. What are you going to do? And you try and fit in everything you have to do in the day. And especially as a Muslim, like I said, you have a lot of things to do if you want to progress in deen and dunya. You have school, you have work. If you want to start a business, you want to work online, you want to make hijrah, Insha'allah, if you want, then great, you got that to do. You got to seek knowledge, you got to work, you got to read Quran, you got to read books, like to learn, you got to train, you got all these things to do. You got to fit in all these times. What I recommend you doing as well is, when you're fitting in these times, think of the most high value tasks you can do. This is going to be the push the needle task. This means that when you want to read the Quran, you're not going to go online and search for Qurans. You're not going to search online. You're not going to spend time looking at all your Qurans. You're going to read it. You're going to read 10 pages of the Quran, 50 ayat of the Quran. Set yourself what is manageable. Remember, something that's manageable and consistent is more important. even if it means 5 ayat. For me, what works for me right now is just 30 minutes of in the morning. I wake up and I read the Quran, like I recite. And then I read pages like I'm about to do it after this, inshallah. That's what works for me. Right? What works for you, what's manageable consistently, and then you overload that bi'idhnillah. Just focus on what is the highest value task. For work, for me, it's scripting, editing, and recording videos. There's nothing else I should be doing in my work time. And I have other times for that to do brand strategy, administration, to make sure all my data is right, to make sure that I'm going in the right direction, all these other things. There's different times for different tasks. But in terms of the most important thing, when you seek knowledge, the best thing you can do with seek knowledge time is you either read books or you watch a class or you go to a class, right? Do that thing that actually pushes the needle, the thing that casts the most votes, the thing that gets you the ultimate reward per input, right? I recommend you wake up before Fajr and you just spend the beginning time kind of doing deen stuff, seeking knowledge if you can. And then after that, you can get into the dunya. Like, I don't love getting into the dunya so easy and early. It's funner to give your time and feels better to start with the time with your deen, right? And then in terms of the next thing, which is KPIs, it means key performance indicators. So KPIs are things in business where you see the ideal performance, you see data of the business. So we're going to apply this to progressing in deen and dunya. Your number one KPI for progressing in deen and dunya would be your habit tracker. You need one. If you don't have one, akhi, wallah, alhamdulillah, I changed my life. In terms of, in September 2023, I was disciplined in schedules. But I became next level disciplined by the will of Allah because of the habit tracker. It just, it's data, bro. Most of us think that we're more disciplined than we actually are. And when you see what you actually are, now you can feel bad. Now you can feel good. Now you can see what you have to work on. And also, display it. Display it, akhi. If you don't display it, the more you see it, the more you'll think of it. What you're going to do is you're basically going to literally take a piece of paper. I recommend a piece of paper or a journal specifically. I'm going to start doing that soon, Insha'Allah. And you literally draw lines of the most valuable tasks that you have in your schedule. And what you're going to do is literally like Quran, like work, like study, like seek knowledge, like read. That's it. That's what you're going to do. That level. And every time you do it, you should put a tick. Every time you don't do it, you put a red cross. Please use the colors green and red because it's some type of mental association. When you do that, and every single night when you finish doing things, just tally up your score. Like, maybe you can take your time. You could tally it up over the day. Or what I do is I have a whiteboard with my schedule. So I tick it on my schedule and then I go at the end of the day and I put it on my habit tracker. So once you do that, and discipline becomes because it's literally data. You can see the data. You can see what you're doing in the day. It's not elusive. You know what you're doing. You know what you're not doing. You're missing the Quran 2-3 days. You see there's a problem. Now go fix it. Say, hey, maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm doing too little. Okay, then you adjust based on discipline. You can see what you're disciplined in and what you're not. Maybe you change your entire schedule because of this, because too many things are going wrong, right? So now we're streamlining the process of discipline, streamlining the process of casting votes, and that is how you use systems to become more disciplined. I put everything I could right now for this volume of discipline. Insha'Allah, if you liked it, we're here to educate, and this is what I stand for, is what I want. Primarily to educate young brothers who are on the journey of trying to become a man, how to progress in deen and dunya. And every single thing I can do in terms of assisting you there. So may Allah bless you, akhi. Listen, if you appreciated this, if you found value in this, please subscribe, a like if you want it. And also, if there's any links to the Haram Habits course or any updates, it will be down there. And inshallah, have a good day, brother. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.